Hello and welcome to Fresh Death Comics. I'm your host, B. Luke. We got Amy with us. Hi, Amy.
Hello, I decided to come back.
I'm so glad that you did.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
We have a lot to talk about today.
Like a month's worth?
Yeah, life has been just a little bit too
Hectic?
Hectic is the word. We tried doing the show last week, but this whole Halloween movie thing
Has literally taken over our lives?
It literally took over our lives. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't think of anything else. And I'm still in the middle of finishing up the reviews. I'm like 10 days behind.
Yeah.
So
No help from me whatsoever. Sorry about
no,
that.
like you're like, I'll help do a couple of these days. I'm like, yes, that will help me out. And then I'm like, where is it? Oh, I don't have it. So I'm like, all right, let me write one. And then you waited like 2 weeks to give me the one. You're like, I'm still waiting on a couple from you. You're like, yeah, I can do those.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You dropped.
I
the
dropped
ball,
all the
but
balls. Dropped the balls. They're in a ball pit. Someone's
it's
slipping on the
just-
balls now.
I know work's been stressful. So
Oh yeah,
that
this has been a
took
little bit.
large. I don't know, a company that makes you work at like 7 a.m. to midnight.
I mean,
Doesn't make any sense.
numbers
Like,
are
when can you
also
record?
tough.
So luckily this week's been a lot easier for you.
Yeah.
Not easier, but easier for me, I guess I should say. Like you've been getting out at times that are normal, and I've been able to eat, so that's been great.
I've been able to eat.
Well, yeah, I don't know what to feed myself. I'm a terrible person. Like I don't know I'm hungry till like my stomach's getting that. Like,
And you can't explain why you're really angry and irritated.
oh, I don't even. I just assume noises or something bad happened. I'm just like I don't even think about food.
Yeah, I
the
know.
last
That's
thing I
part
think
of
about.
the fucking problem.
So
Anyways,
watching a Halloween movie on top of everything has been a triumph. We've been going to bed like at 3 a.m.
It's
to do
been
this
very
stuff.
late.
So you've been getting like 2 hours of sleep a night.
I mean, it's been more than that, but it's felt like that.
So it's just been very stressful. So I feel bad.
No, let it be known. We brought this upon ourselves. Totally.
Because
like,
I wanted to have that experience. I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of these movies, and I wanted to know why.
Yeah.
So, like, the Halloween movies, like, I brought it up to my dad. Like, I told him we were doing this, and I told him we watched the Halloweens, and he was like, oh, no, that's a demon. No, He was very much against this. So it was
why did he think that Michael Myers was a demon, though?
because anyone you can stab and shoot and come back, that's not human. That's a demon. That's an evil entity taking over. Like,
How does he know that for certain? Like, what if this guy is just really good at living? What if he's what if he's a stunt man? He just wants to be a stunt man.
you really want to know this story?
I do.
All right. Because this is going to get into the creepy territory. Like, this is some fucked up shit that I have not told you about because it's freaking me out a little bit in my head.
Okay, let it loose. Open that can of
All right.
worms.
So, growing up, my dad always liked scary movies, horror movies. He tricked my mom into watching Cujo. He told her it was a movie about a man and his dog, and they just were going to be friends together. It's not what it's about.
Spoiler alert.
When I was being born, like my dad had Aliens on. Like he was watching Aliens while I was being
born? Jeez.
So like that scene where he's coming at he rips out of the guy's stomach. My mom's like, "That's gonna happen to me."
Oh God.
She was terrified.
Yeah, I mean that scene.
One of their
in
first
general
dates was
is-
watching like Night of the Living Dead together. So like my dad's always liked horror movies. So they started watching. I know he was watching the Jason movies and the Halloween movies, and he was renting them from a store. And one night he was watching these movies, and in the middle of in the night, all of a sudden he's being choked, and he woke up, and he couldn't see anything, but something was choking him. He couldn't breathe. My mom looks over and just sees this creature on top of my dad choking him. So she started praying and speaking in tongues, and it was a demon. He ran away. And my dad had these marks on his neck, like from the choking. So like there was evidence of it. He was like, "This happened." They didn't take pictures or anything, so they prove it to me that they just know between themselves.
Yeah.
So they go to church, they come back, and as they're coming back down the road, we live on at the time, a big giant hill.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming down the hill, and my mom sees that demon creature above the house, sitting on top of
Just like chilling on the roof.
chilling on the roof.
Okay.
Directly underneath him was where the TV was in the VCR, and that's where the VHS was. So my mom's like, there it is. I see it. Those things are cursed. So my dad goes, you know what? You're right. Let's get rid of these. So he packs them up. He gets them into the car. They go back to the video store. He returns them, and the demon's now gone. He doesn't come back to the house. And so ever since then, that's why I've never wanted to watch Halloween movies. I've always been afraid of touching anything with Halloween because I don't want these demon things.
May I ask a follow-up question?
Absolutely.
How old were you at the telling of this story? How old were you when you first heard this story?
When I first heard this story,
Yes.
probably like 10 around
Yeah.
there.
Sounds about right. I'm just saying
My mom
that is a great way to scare your children into not watching things because they sound possessed. Hashtag just saying.
Yes, but I just if we tell my mom, if we can call her up and be
Oh, we
like,
could call
hey,
her now. I know she's awake.
Exactly. I could call her now and we could say, hey, Ma, Amy wants to know the story about the Halloween movies or the Jason movies. It was one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
What's the story behind these? And my mom will tell you the exact story I've told you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I know it, because she says it verbatim. My mom gets in certain, almost like I have a computer mom.
Where
Like
she's
there's
just
certain rhetorics that all of a sudden she will stay, and all of a sudden she has the same script that she'll use. Like suicide's one of them. She has a whole script about how she feels about that. Motorcyclist, when she hears someone sort of riding a motorcycle or a motorcycle accident, she has a whole speech about that because she was in the ICU.
Yep.
I got there's like these certain wave paths you can go on, and one of them, like, I don't know, go there, but there's been a lot of ones that she's warned me about that I'm currently doing. So
She also told you that Santa Claus was evil, so there's that.
he's just missing the end.
This don't make no sense, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, we've gone off on a giant fucking
So anyway,
tangent.
we watched these Halloween movies. So we finally watched Halloween Ends. We saw it in theaters with my good friend Drew.
Yes! Shout out Fat Cat Comics.
So it was amazing watching it on the big screen.
Yes, especially knowing it's also great when you're like kind of into the movie, but you're like, nah, it's okay, like great. But if you're with somebody who's like really into the movie and you know that they love it, like Drew, that was kind of extra. That was the cherry on top, was to be watching it with him.
He was there for every moment, and he is like rooting. And,
yes.
And his fiance, she was not having it.
Nope.
She has not seen any of the Halloween movies, and I feel like she had an upbringing very similar to mine.
Yep.
So she's freaking out, and I know exactly what she's thinking about.
Yes.
And that's why I made my whole theory about Mike Myers, and I did all that. I know we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
And that just cemented that for this. But this movie, I wonder if we watched it on TV together, through the it's on Peacock, right?
Yeah, it's on Peacock.
Yeah,
yes.
so if we watch it just at home on Peacock, would we have liked it or hated the movie? I think the big screen made it better.
I agree. I think it would have been easier to miss a lot of detail at home as opposed to in the theater. I think it's also more immersive, I'm not worrying about what the neighbors are doing, what that car is making noise outside. Like, you're in the theater. That is all you were thinking about is this movie, if you're doing it the way you should.
Scene where there was a lot of strobing lights, I had a hard time with that. It was hard to get out of the theater.
Yeah,
So there was that I had to deal with. So
yeah.
But that's my own hardships with movies.
Yes.
One of my favorite parts was like Drew's fiance was very scared, and I was like, don't be scared, Michael's a great guy, he's just a gay man trapped, in this conservative world, and if I saw him, I'd just give him a hug. And behind me was a guy dressed up like Mike Myers.
Yes.
And or was Mike Myers.
I forgot about this.
And there was a moment where I was like,
he literally...
am I going to die? But I was like, no, follow the logic that you have instilled in your heart about what is true about Mike Myers. So I waved to him and said, hi, buddy. And he didn't wave back, but he acknowledged that I accepted him.
If Michael Myers could give you a look, he gave you that look. That is, and not only that, but I just want to know and shout out to that guy. I appreciated that he just dead stop, pun fully intended, dead stopped from walking down and just engaged with you. It was a beautiful moment to witness.
And I didn't even know he was watching me till
No.
I noticed everyone's eye line wasn't matching my eye line because I have a hard time with my eyes. They're all over the place. But I'll look at someone's eyes to make sure, oh, are you talking to me? And I see Amy's eyes off to my right. I see everyone's eyes off, and even in the back row, you didn't see the people behind you. Their eyes are also looking to my right shoulder.
Oh, yeah, I didn't catch that.
So when I turned, I knew there was something there.
Yeah.
And I was almost scared. I didn't know, because we had snuck alcohol in. So I didn't know if maybe I was getting caught for the alcoholism. And I was like, oh, man, this is going to be a bad time. It was just Michael, and he was saying hi, and I said hi back to him. So it was great.
It was great.
So we spent a month watching movies. We watched over the amount of movies in the month because we had to watch all the Halloweens. And there were some movies that you had to watch together.
Correct.
So what?
You can't just watch it chapter 1.
So
you can't.
I'm going to post a picture of, so check it out on Instagram and Twitter. I'm going to post a picture of our movies lineup so you guys can see all the movies as we're talking about it because we watched a lot of movies.
We watched so many movies. So many movies. And some I wish we didn't watch.
So, and that's where I was going to go with this topic. So, Amy, let me ask you, what movies did we not watch that you wished we had watched? Give me a second to think about this.
Yes, give me the Jeopardy music.
Okay. So in the meantime, like I said, I'm going to post a picture online. I'm just going to explain something on Saturdays. We made a deal that I wanted to recreate what my childhood Halloweens were and stuff I was missing growing up that I always wanted to do. So we made Saturday morning cartoons happen. I looked at what Halloween episodes were airing at a certain time that we had to skip over growing up. And I found some commercials during that time. So we just kind of jumped back in time, and it was really fun. Some of the stuff I realized I didn't realize how much fun it was. Like the Power Rangers Halloween episode was a huge deal.
It was, especially and now I understand why you love Zeo so much. It's stuff because of that episode, because the actors got to do something that was totally different, but they each got an individual amount of time. They all got focus in that episode. Everybody was doing something their own little thing, and that was awesome. So I kind of get why you like Zeo so much now. Yeah, whatever.
So we watched Saturday morning cartoons, and so Amy let me do that, and she chose some of the scary movies. She chose some of the more scary movies that she wanted to watch and what we were going to take chances on. So, Amy.
Yes.
I'll let you think for a second. What movies did we not watch that we wish you watched?
That I wish we did watch was The Ring.
Oh, yeah, The Ring. I wanted...
And I do want to say why. That's kind of, I'll be honest, it's kind of my yardstick that I measure things with. Because when I was in middle school and this movie came out, we had all just freshly turned 13 and we all thought we were hot fucking shit. And we were like, oh, did you see The Ring? It was so scary. But when I watch this, I cannot, to this day, I still feel slightly uncomfortable when I see a very staticky TV. Because I just think the Ring Girl's going to come out of it. So this is like the first movie that like shooketh me as a child. And I watched it. I was obsessed. I watched it over and over because I was just trying to figure out like everything.
See, I mean, I think my parents liked like comedy horror, so like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes,
Which I've
were some
actually
of my
never
favorite
seen.
ones. But like when I started watching horror movies on my own, like Saw was like my first horror movie. So it's so interesting, like how much of a difference horror movies. You're like, I got The Ring, and I'm like Saw.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
that's
then
because
Hostel, I watched in my room upstairs in a little laptop computer because I downloaded the movie illegally, and so I didn't want my parents to find out.
Well, no.
And so I was watching on a laptop, like scared they're gonna come in. It was terrifying its own. So
Yeah, we didn't watch Saw, which well, we did recently
we watched it last year.
Yeah, we went through the whole everything, and we even watched. I mean, Spiral was on my top 10 last year. Spiral was such a good movie. I really do wish that they would come back and have Chris Rock do another one.
Yeah,
Because I loved it.
it was great.
It was so great.
Especially, it was just a different take on the story.
Yeah.
And it was fresh and new, and I really want to watch it again to see if I can, if it's really as good as I'm hoping it is. Because sometimes I've watched the Saw movies are interesting
Yes.
because the first time you watch it, you go, "Oh, what is this shit? It's awful." Then you watch it again, and once you know it's happening, you're like, "Oh, okay, I get this. That's pretty smart." And then you watch it again and go, "No, you're dumb. Like, what the fuck are you doing, mother shit?" So and then the next time you watch it, like, listen, he knew they were gonna like. You play with yourself the whole time.
Yeah.
While you're
Of
watching
like what was
Saws.
intentional and what just kind of they were like,
words
let's just
or did it-
backwards engineer
yeah,
this.
like I think that's why I love it so much, just because it's a series that I grew up with.
Yep.
What movies did we watch this month that you're upset that we watched? You hated that we watched it.
Should I start from the one I hate the most?
Why? Do you have a list?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, where would I put things? Or should I just randomly name them? I just...
Top three? Top three worst films this year.
Choose or die.
That is on my list as well. And no, let's make no random order unless you know what the worst one was.
Yes, I'm going
Okay.
reverse.
So, Choose or Die, I don't know if that's my worst film, but it is on my list.
That's not my worst film. I'm going from counting up to my number
All right.
one.
Why was Choose or Die bad?
Because I was so hyped for the concept. I am legitimately disappointed by this movie. Like, I feel hurt, personally.
I felt 100 people wrote this movie, and every time I turned around, it was somebody else picking up the story. Like, someone wrote it, got fired, so someone else took it. Like, all right, we're telling the perspective from her. I got fired. We're telling the perspective from you. I got fired. We're telling the perspective from the puppy dog. I got fired. All right, we're telling the perspective from the bad guy now. Like, it just felt so disjointed.
Yes.
I never knew what was real and not. Like, what was really Choose or Die.
Yeah.
Like, it was so poorly executed.
Yeah.
It's not my worst film, though. Not my worst.
It's not my worst either.
All right, what's your next?
The Requin with fucking Alicia Silverstone. The Shark movie.
That is a sleeper fest.
I was rooting for the shark at the end of that movie.
I just wanted the movie. Like, I knew once everybody died, the movie would be over, so I just rooted for the sharks the whole time. I've never
The
been like
whole
that.
time. And I don't even care. I'm going to fucking spoil it. The point where she's just making dumb... realizes the sign. It's like, danger ahead. Ooh, enter at your own risk. And it says, shock. And that's how the fucking movie ends. So fucking dumb. So dumb. Not all shark movies are created equal. I have known this for a long time. And yet, went into this. Wish it didn't. Wished I would have just watched Jaws again.
All right. And then what is the worst film?
Wait, what is your middle? Give me one
The
of yours.
Requin was my worst film.
What's your worst film?
That was the film I hated the most. I wish we never watched it.
Yeah.
I never would have found the trail. Like, I'm upset we sat through that.
Yeah, I agree.
And I
Again.
like I like Alicia Silverstone.
I do too. But when you're
That was the
rooting for the shark,
But like,
also the shark was like 10% of this movie.
and the only reason I know Alicia Silverstone is from the Scooby Doo movie.
Oh.
So like, am I really a fan of her, or just do I really like Scooby Doo?
I think you're just really a fan of Scooby Doo because I know her from Clueless.
So what is your worst film of the?
I believe it is your second, The Munsters.
That is my second.
I called it. Fucking called it.
The Munsters. Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
It was, I fucking wish. And honestly, I wear this as a badge, but more like I've seen some things and I wish I didn't. Like, I've seen some shit and the shit is the Munsters. Like, I've seen some things. I've been traumatized by this film. Like, mostly because I wish he would have just been like, hey, you might want to like drop some shrooms after, before it to have a good time.
See, and that is why it's not my worst, because I want to watch this film again on drugs.
But I don't feel
like knowing that there's no reason to watch Three Quinn again.
No.
Like, no drugs are gonna help it.
No.
If she came to the house, I'm sure I'm not going to bring up the movie to her. I hope she just got
Absolutely
really
not.
good paid. If she didn't, maybe let's talk about why you didn't get paid for that.
Yeah.
Because
She was acting her ass off.
You were the only one acting.
Yes.
The whole script didn't make sense. Like, you were in a shitty situation. You need money. Good. Get that money.
She was the backbone of that film.
So, but that's why it's the worst.
Yeah.
With the Munsters, at least knowing, like, oh, if I take a lot of mushrooms and watch the Munsters, would I have a more enjoyable time? Is it going to be goofy and silly?
See, I don't feel like you could be able to judge a film like that, though.
The fact that I'm willing to watch it again, I'm never willing to watch Requin again. There is nothing that will make me watch that film ever again. That is one I just avoid. It's not mockery worthy.
Yeah.
Like, we were mocking it, and we still were not having fun.
Because we were currently suffering through it, and we were just trying to get by. That's what was happening with that movie. But that's the thing. Like, I just don't think that you can judge this, that maybe this film might be good under different circumstances if you get the dosage right.
The fact we're just splitting hairs of how terrible they are. The fact that I want to watch it over again on drugs is just... there's not a big difference between these.
All right, fair.
Like, Choose or Die and these films have a bigger...
There's a wider gap.
Yeah. These movies, I mean, cheese is thinner.
Cheese is thinner.
Like, it is so thin.
Cheese is thinner. Oh, my God. Swiss cheese gets real thin at places almost doesn't exist. You're just so goddamn outrageous. So that's your list of everything that you hated.
Yes, those are the worst 3 movies. And there's some movies that, I don't know, come bad, but those were by far the worst offenders.
Yes, I completely agree. So, what are your top 3?
All right, I've been thinking about this because I think there's some strong contenders. There's some movies I never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I watched, and I was like, these are the best. Number 3,
Yes.
I really, really like Candyman.
Oh, God, yes. That was... Oh.
The concept of that, the scariness of Candyman, that is... Whew, very, very scary.
Oh, God, if you have not seen this, please see this movie. Like, it's about, like a typical Jordan Peele movie, it's about so much more than just the Candyman.
And then my top 2, and we're getting I'm trying to think because we're getting real thin like cheese.
Get real thin like cheese. Thin cheese.
We got thin cheese going on. It's all melty, and they're just above each other.
Why is it? It's.
I think
I want to ask. Why can't it be a crepe?
because
a crepe
of,
is
that's
real
French and we're Americans.
Are we?
Though I will say, maybe in honor of the couple of French people who have been listening to the show, we can say crepe in honor of them. So crepe. They are crepes close.
Crepes close. I feel like that's something that you would throw in at like the end of a speech and go boom lawyered. Crepes close. Boom lawyered.
All right. Number 2.
Yes. Hit me with it.
Hang on. I gotta take a hit. I gotta take a hit.
Gotta take a hit.
This is because it's really down
This
to
is
the wire.
Serious
This is serious shit.
serious business, Mr.
This is literally my choose or die, and I'm having a better time with my choose or die than the movie.
Yeah,
All right, I figured it out.
you did.
The power of alcohol and booze.
Alcohol is poos.
And then weed.
And then weed. There you go. And then a third thing. So number 2.
Terrifier 2.
Yes, that was. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
And the reason it's my number 2 and not my number 1, and we're saying crepes close in honor of the fellow French people. Merci. Oui, oui. Mon ami. I don't know a lot of French. I'm sorry. I've been trying to learn some. I had this whole plan that like all these different countries have been listening to us because I
Is
get
that
to
how
see
we
those
should
statistics.
intro the show from now on?
Yeah, I wanted to say hello in that language, but I know I'm gonna butcher it so well because I can barely get the American language under control.
I mean, you do say breakfast weird.
What breakfast is what you eat in the morning.
Breakfast.
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 It's breakfast. Anyway, so it's crepes close
Yes.
because Terrifier 2 had me at a promise that I would be so disgusted that I would puke, grow faint, be uncontrollable with anxiety and outrageousness.
And not be able to control bodily functions.
Yeah, so the last movie that promised that I remember was Hostel.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that, and spoiler alert, if you guys haven't seen Hostel, when he clips the guy's heel muscle, the Achilles heel,
Yep.
and it cracks, and that has freaked me out ever since. And it's all I think about. Like, that is the worst thing that could ever happen. Like, that is the ultimate torture. Like, that. And he doesn't do anything like that. I mean, the stuff he does, the stuff Art the Clown does is
Yes.
outrageous.
Oh.
And
It
is in
is.
its
It
own
is.
league. But I feel like I never had a moment where I was, this is the scary moment. This is the part people are upset by.
Oh, this is it. Yeah, I
They're
didn't
like,
have
oh
that.
my God, I am having a moment. I can talk about it for years. Like, I'll never, ever see something like this again. And I feel like I've seen everything, especially after we watched, like, The Green Inferno.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like The Green Inferno was more brutally violent than Art the Clown was. Art the Clown was more like I was watching somebody play with gummy bears.
Oh yeah, that it was just so over the top in in the clownery of it. It looked fake. So I think that separated reality from, like, it was still like, whoa, that's fucked up.
And that's why it's number 2, because there's a lot of movies we've watched that have been like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah.
This is shitty. Or, oh, I can see blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, I want to watch Terrifier 1.
Yeah, I have
Like,
to
it
say, I
makes
do
me
want to go
and
back.
I would watch this movie again next year.
Like, it's
Like, I could add this to my Halloween
It is-
rotation and be proud that
yeah.
it's there.
it's so over the it's so disturbing, really, that art just has this very distinct look. It's a very the black paint against the white face and the teeth. And just the fact that he is silent, he is a mime the entire movie. Like, I think that is scary. On top of the fact that he's like, oh, well, I'm just going to take this girl, take her hand, part 2 of her fingers over here, part 2 of her fingers over there, and just rip her arm up the way like a freaking hangnail. Like, what the hell?
And then take her other arm and snap it off.
Snap it off.
And then
like,
runs away so she thinks she's safe. He comes back with bleach and salt.
Oh, yeah, and literally starts rubbing, like, fucking salt in a wound of
like, what does that do?
acid?
I've been trying to figure out what that meant. I was thinking it meant
it was,
he was, like,
or it was
cauterizing
bleach.
the wounds.
No, he was, like, basically making it hurt way more painful, like, making it so much more painful.
Yeah, like, that kind of stuff is
like, fucking disturbing. And then on top, like, on the same girl, actually, where this poor girl, this poor girl, he's like cutting into her leg, and somehow she is still fucking alive after she's been scalped, and he's like trying to fucking feed it to her. Like, it's wild. It goes there, but it does it in like a fun way that I kind of want to go back and watch it more.
I do. Yeah. Especially, I don't want to ruin it for people, but there's certain scenes that you don't think they're going to do that in the movie. Like, it's everything I wished Halloween Ends was. Of this guy who gives zero fucks, who's going around just murdering people. Mm-hmm. Like, because that's how kind of Halloween Kills was. He was doing this ramp up, and if he was going to end it, like his end game, per se, I was expecting this big...
Yeah, I was too.
Display, and I didn't get that. So really, Art the Clown was my answer to Halloween Ends. Though in my mind, I really want Art the Clown to be the origin story to like a Sabretooth story. Like Sabretooth has just been dressing like a clown for years and just murdering people because he thinks it's fun to be this boogeyman because he lives forever, just like Wolverine. Mm-hmm. So he's been haunting different places. And you can have a whole series on this. Like, 1 year it's in Indiana. The next year he's in Kentucky. The next year he's in Utah. And he's just, you never go to sleep because... And he can dress in a clown, like... Because he has the teeth, too. So he could call himself, like, the Terrifier. Like, it clearly could be an origin story for Sabretooth. And I would love for... I want to write this story.
Please do. Workshop
I think it would be great.
Do an outline.
But
have it on my desk tomorrow.
And then my number 1.
What was it?
Was Deadstream from Shudder's original.
Really?
Yes. That I think the concept of that is scary. The way they executed that. I do not want to watch that movie again.
Oh.
Because it's so scary. I was scared during that movie. My heart was racing. I was not having a good time. I was scared.
Wow.
And because he was me. As a guy, as a Christian boy who I just told you this story, like, I've been trying to stay away from it, and here I am provoking by watching these movies.
Yep.
That's me. And then to realize, like, oh, this could happen to me. Here we are talking on a podcast. Like, I had a thought.
You were literally live streaming earlier today. Like, this legit is you.
So me and Hans thought, because Hans believes in ghosts. He believes in this stuff. So me and him were going to go to haunted places and go through it, and I would just prove there weren't ghosts. That was all fake.
I mean, I still think you guys should.
No.
Remote segment.
I'm too scared to do something like that. No. I don't want to play. Like, as much as I don't think it's real, I don't want to die. And Deadstream taught me that, so that is the reason why it's number 1. It made me realize that, hey, maybe it's not worth it to have an audience give me Stardust and a brownie. That's currency in Twitch world.
Okay.
I don't know. I just see brownies and treats and Stardust and things like, you got a bit. And I was like, what the fuck is a bit?
Yeah, I clearly am not watching enough Twitch.
So, needless to say, Deadstream just scared me. The realistic of it, like watching live streamers, and if they were doing something like this, I felt like I was really watching a live stream.
You thought that it was not a movie, that it was very
the way they
legitimate.
did it, it seemed like it was a found footage, like this was something someone found.
Sorry, I just remembered what he named one of the cameras.
Also, he is hilarious.
Yes.
As much as I hate him.
He is you. How
is
can you
me.
hate yourself?
Because I'm a self-hating man.
You loathe yourself entirely.
So, Amy, now that we talked about mine, what were your top 3?
All right. I know this might be controversial.
So,
Halloween 3.
still, after everything we watched, Halloween 3 still.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I stand by this. I
it's
don't
a,
care.
It's a good movie.
I think it should go on rotation. It is one of those that's so bad it's good, but like knowing what John Carpenter, it just made a lot of sense. Anyways, copy paste.
Yeah, so it's great. So what's number 2 then?
Number 2, Candyman. I agree with you about everything. I was legitimately scared. Such a good fucking movie. So I'm gonna speed ahead and say that my number 1 is Gravy. I am so glad that I watched this movie.
Really? Gravy?
Yes, I love
That is exciting.
I adored Gravy. I thought it was so good. Gabourey Sidibe was so great. Everybody knows her from Precious. She's popped up in so many other things, though. She's just an actor that's very interesting. And I was not expecting her to be in a movie like this, honestly. Like Killer Cannibals.
It's one of my favorite horror movies. Like that's and we made this list of movies we've seen before because I mean, of course, your number 1 would have been The Shining.
Yeah, it is.
So that's why I tried to throw in new movies. That way we could have a fair top 10 list at least of movies that we've seen. And we tried to watch as many new movies as we could.
Yes.
As long as keeping some fun, hopefully traditions like Halloween 3, we'll keep that in the rotation. Yeah. I want to keep, we can add Gravy because like I said, it was already, I love this movie. Especially if you're a fan of Psych, watching Gravy and now like when we go back and watch Psych again, this is what I've been waiting for, to watch Gravy so we can go back and watch Psych and you could be like, oh.
This is when they're shooting this.
No. When you see that he directed certain episodes, you can start to see where he's doing it or some of the horror movie aspects they added to it. You're like, oh, how much they cut him back. What was the, like, knowing what he can do, this was him tamed.
Yeah.
And so, especially when later in the seasons, they give them a lot more writing abilities and directing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know
they're executive
that
producers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They have a lot more creative control in the whole show now, which is honestly so great.
So, one question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one question. What about Hocus Pocus 2? That did not make your list. And knowing how much you liked about Hocus Pocus, I assumed that would have.
I did. Okay, so how I judged my top 3 was how glad am I that I watched this movie? And have I seen it before is an automatic disqualifier. Just because I feel like
you can't,
you're just going to name the same thing every time.
If
Why
we do
make
this
a
list
list
every year, from now on, you're going to be like Gravy or The Shining.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe next year we can talk about some of our favorite movies that we liked, but I don't think we haven't gotten there yet.
No.
So why not Hocus Pocus 2?
I don't know why people are shitting on it. I stand by it still.
It's not a bad movie. I enjoyed it.
I haven't heard what people are saying because I just want to live in my own bubble. I liked it. I thought it was cute. You know, her sisters
the people are
were
just
the
saying
thing.
Everything my mom and dad have been saying.
Yeah, it's evil. It's witches.
So really, just insert my parents, and you've got the gist.
Yeah,
but
heard it before.
but there's a lot of callbacks to the original film.
Yes.
I feel like it was really good.
I do too, and people need to stop shitting on it. I think it was.
Okay,
I
but
think
not
it was
good
good.
enough to make the top 3 in either one of our lists.
No, but let's be fair. There was a lot of stiff fucking competition
It
here.
was.
We did try to make a variety out of this. We tried to include new, old, past, present, fan favorites. We were getting suggestions from Hans. We never probably wouldn't have really watched Terrifier 2
If he didn't say something and then a
Yeah.
news report on it.
Yeah.
There's a couple movies that I'm thinking about maybe I'm doing some TikToks on from viewer suggestions of having us watch.
Yeah, because we've gotten a couple comments.
Barbarian has been on the list.
Yeah, and we are clearly Justin Long fans.
So, Amy, I have bad news for you.
Yeah.
She-Hulk is over. We watched the season finale.
Yes.
It hasn't been renewed for a second season yet, but we have finished one season.
Correct.
What are your thoughts? Now, last time we talked, we talked all the way up into the season finale, and you've watched this last episode. What are your thoughts?
Slightly disappointed.
Oh no, this what, you didn't like it?
I know I shouldn't take really this criticism to heart, but it's like once you see something, you can't unsee it sometimes. And that's kind of how I started feeling once Hans made that comment about She-Hulk.
Oh, that it's a show about her guest and not her.
And not her. And honestly, I kept thinking that. I kept thinking that the entire time. Like, she's just so busy trying to fix everything else that it's not about her. It's not about what, she's just trying to reset normal and like.
See, and that's where I really love it, and I feel like that was a real Zeb Wells and Cody Ziegler's joke, because they're Spider-Man writers. Spider-Man, and then even Pickle Rick with Jessica Gao, there is this whole tongue-in-cheek thing of like, oh, Kevin Feige told us to make a She-Hulk show, but we have to include Daredevil. We've got to include Titania. We've got to include this thing. We've got to include a picture of. We got to include Wong in it. Like, make an episode around that. It's almost like Sam Raimi when he did Spider-Man 3, and he had a base the characters around the toys that they were selling. Like, they showed him the toys. They go, hey, we're making toys. Make a movie out of this. Here's your bad guys. And he goes, all right, cool. And he had it, and they're like, oh, no, hey, we're going to throw in a third bad guy because more bad guys are better. So I feel like that's what happened is they said, know what? We're going to write this, and then at the end, we're just going to tell everyone this is what we did. Because look she goes in and she has this whole conversation about the X-Men and Fantastic Four and this whole fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, I guess I'm just. Here's my thing. I'm getting tired. Like, breaking the fourth wall, yeah, I'm getting bored with it. Seriously. Like, I get it. You can be meta. All right. Cool. Everybody's done it. Like, I don't, why?
Okay, see, I'm not done with it, but there is the movie trope of their movie starts and they're bloody and they're like taking their last breaths and they're like and they're walking to a destination and all of a sudden they look up at the sky and then you see numbers of days earlier, hours earlier, and they're like, I was living a hot shot life and life was beautiful on the road. I hate those movies. And there was a period of time where every single movie, that's why I walked out of Birds of Prey, because that's how that movie opens.
Oh, okay. That explains some things. I think you already went into Birds of Prey not wanting to watch it, but
yeah, but then you open up with that, and I'm just like, this is every single movie. I mean, even movies I like John Wick starts out like that.
yeah.
Like, I'm tired of it. So and
Yeah,
I think
no,
we're getting to that
breaking
point
the
with maybe the breaking the wall.
yeah,
is.
just that's where I'm at with this trope. I know that not everybody is, but I was just like it got to that point in the episode, and I just went, of course they're gonna go in this direction. Like,
Yeah, but they had to because, like I said, the blueprints, which we see at the end, because he says, "Oh, Hulk went on an adventure. We have to show him coming back." And she's like, "No, we can." He goes, "No, it has to be done.
yes,
Also, we have to
this,
see Matt Murdock again."
yes,
And then the end. Uh, oh, what Justin from Soundground
yes,
pointed this out, and I can't unsee it now.
okay,
He goes, "That end scene of She-Hulk
mm-hmm.
was the Fast and Furious movie." At the end of it, when they're having the picnic together.
Oh my god.
And now I can't unsee it, and I'm like, oh, it really is. So, but yeah, you have everybody here, and I'm just like, this just feels so forced.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know what to do. He told you that he had to include all these ingredients, and you're like, all right, we're going to tell this story, and then or maybe they had the story, and he goes, oh, hey, I need these also added, and they're like, but we have a story. It's a nice mini series, maybe a movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, we need to make it this many episodes long.
A 9-episode arc.
I need to have Daredevil in it for this many episodes. We need to have Bruce Banner in it for this many.
Mm-hmm.
Make this happen. She's like, no, I wrote this really good hour-long or 2-hour movie or mini series.
It honestly felt that way too.
Yeah, it felt like there were some episodes that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, there were filler episodes for sure.
So,
yeah.
I will say this for She-Hulk, and I've been thinking long and hard about it. I think it's the better Disney Plus shows. It's not perfect by far, but it's literally a show you can just throw on any episode and you could watch with somebody.
And jump
They
in.
don't need to know who everybody is. You can watch any episode and be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have fun and laugh. Like if someone comes over and it's just playing in the background, if you just, if it was on the Disney Channel or on an actual or a TV site
Mm-hmm.
where you would stream them, that would be a perfect one to have in the rotation on a TV series.
Yeah.
Unlike WandaVision, where you have to watch from beginning to end.
And pay attention too. This is.
Or Moon Knight. Moon Knight doesn't make any sense if you watch it, just one random episode in. You're like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
And they got to give you the what happened before. So I just think She-Hulk works as a very sitcom comedy show.
I agree.
But I think it has a little bit of work to do with fleshing out some of the. It feels like they started stuff and then panicked and just left.
Or was it that they started things, say, we can't go there yet? And then just kind of, let's just erase this here, move this over here.
I don't know, and I want to know. I would love to know. So.
That's just my thought. But now that you mention it, I do think that it does have that feel of like a 2-hour movie kind of stretched out over a 9-episode arc.
Yeah, of filler things that didn't need to happen. Daredevil could have easily fit in as a filler thing at the end, where he's like, because even the episode where he's in it, they made She-Hulk dumb.
Yeah.
And it really upset me that here she is, like my brother's arguing. When it first started, we were arguing that she's one of the smartest lawyers.
Correct.
And my brother's like, oh, that's sexist. We have a lot of arguments about this. And I'm like, he's going to watch the Daredevil episode and go, look at how dumb she was. Why didn't she talk to him? Why didn't she talk to her witness? Make sure he was doing what proper. She just automatically assumed that he was in the right.
Mm-hmm.
And that just proves that she's a bad lawyer. And I'm like, they just... I don't know. They should have... Honestly, they should have gotten Charles Soule on it because he wrote She-Hulk and maybe had some real lawyer in the court Ally McBeal stuff going on.
Yeah.
I think that would have helped because we didn't really get lawyer. We just got everything else.
Yeah.
We got everything else.
I agree. That would have been, that's the thing. We did see her more kind of bumbling at her job at times. We didn't really see her. I feel like we didn't see her really shine as a lawyer.
But then again, the comics don't. I'm just thinking now, the comics don't really have her in the courtroom either. That's why I don't like Daredevil half the time, because I want him to be in court and also be in Daredevil. And I want to, like, if I had a whole episode in the court, I'd be fine with it. But I don't. Usually, I have a court scene where he's like, "Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay. Case closed. Good job, Murdoch." I'm like, I wanted to get everything. Where's...
Somebody had to go away for murder at one point. Come on.
Exactly. I want more courtroom scenes with Daredevil, and I haven't gotten it. And I love Chip Zdarsky's run.
Mm-hmm.
I just want more courtroom scenes. I don't get that a lot, and it upsets me. So I think that's I'm just carrying over this. Now I want She-Hulk to have this, which she doesn't have in her comics either. Usually, she's in the court. She's doing other things leading up to court. So maybe it's just a problem in Marvel's view of courts. They don't talk about courtroom stuff.
Perhaps. So now that we're at this point, what comes out next?
Black Panther comes out next week.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's November.
And
I keep forgetting this.
You gotta avoid Funko Shop because they're showing off spoilers of the movie already.
Yikes.
Of the bad guys. I guess spoilers are everywhere. So, like, if you care about the movie, you kind of have to, like, disappear from everything. So, it's lucky for me because that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I've been staying to myself.
So, next Friday comes out?
Yeah.
Shit.
A week from now, basically.
So, okay. So, I know Black Panther comes out next Friday, but is there a Disney Plus show that comes out after that?
Yes, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday specials coming out with James Gunn.
Now...
And it's going to be some kind of holiday... I assume this is going to be like an hour long?
Yeah, that was what my question was. Is this just a one-off hour-long special?
I don't know how long it's going to be. All we know is that it's a Guardians holiday special. I've seen a couple of trailers.
Then this is going to make it... They're going to force James Gunn to be very concise.
Yeah, and also now that he's working with... Did you hear the news that he's now the head DC
of
dude?
DC?
Like, I'm like, oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I said, jeez. I didn't want to say jeez. I don't know why I said jeez.
I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, which really kind of... Now,
He did Suicide Squad, remember that?
Yeah, and now thinking back to the Michael Rooker panel at Terrificon last year... Now I keep... That's something that I keep thinking about with all this news about James Gunn going over and doing more DC. Is like, he was getting asked what was with the Switch, and he just went, the money! Like, money fucking talks. Like, they're going to do these projects.
So there is a series coming out called Secret Invasion about how the Skrulls have been infiltrating lives. That's coming out sometime soon. I don't know where. Ironheart's supposed to be coming out, which is Riri Williams. She's a girl from Chicago, and she hacks into the armor of Tony Stark. Like one of his armors that fell in Chicago, and she grabbed it, and she was like, "Oh, I can get this to work," and hacks into it and learns how to make it a suit.
Cool.
And becomes a new Iron Man. And in that, Tony Stark, because he's dead, is actually AI.
Oh, so he's like Jarvis.
He's like Jarvis, so technically that could get Riding Downey Jr. in the show again.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I have her first comics in here. She's
not.
amazing.
I had no idea about this character at all.
Yeah, so that's coming out soon. And then in February, we have the Ant-Man movie, the Quantumania, which... Did I show you that trailer?
Yes, you did.
With Bill Murray?
Yeah, where the... Is he... So he's just canon in the Marvel Universe now? Is he... But my question is he playing Bill Murray? Is Bill Murray playing Bill Murray? I mean, we all know Bill Murray on some level is playing Bill Murray, but, like, is his character name going to be Bill Murray?
I don't know, but that's all I want to know now. Like,
yes.
I'm not watching any more trailers. I'm not watching anything else because I saw that teaser trailer. You hooked me.
I'm teased.
I saw a picture of Bill Murray.
Teased.
I got teased with some like quantum realm stuff, and I'm hoping
Yeah.
maybe the Fantastic Four will show up.
Yeah.
Like, but that's my own brain working at
Not
things.
only that, but I'm just so excited to see Cassie growing up. Like, she's really, and I know that she does go on to do more in this universe, so I'm kind of excited to see that.
Yeah, because she's part of the Young Avengers, which we've been meeting them throughout the series.
With
With Kate Bishop, with Hawkeye,
Ms. Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Technically, Wanda's kids are part of the Young
Oh yeah,
Avengers.
Billy and Tommy.
Yeah, it was part of Children's Crusade. So they've been
Yeah,
getting
they've
these
been
guys.
like Easter egging it. This
So,
whole
like I
time.
said, like they've been getting this stuff in, and then oh, he's not part of the Young Avengers. That's the wrong Hulk. I was like, Hulk is like Hulk's son is part of the Young. I was like, no, that's hulking. He's totally different. And then I was thinking of the Champions, and I was like, no, that's a different Hulk altogether. So, man, there's so many Hulks, Amy. Too many Hulks.
Too many Hulks.
Too many Hulks.
Too many Hulks.
So many Hulks. You got Abomination, She-Hulk, Hulk and Red Hulk, She-Hulk, Red Hulk, She-Hulk and Red Hulk.
So just 4.
No, there's a She-Hulk, but she's red, so she's like Red She-Hulk. That's what I was trying to say.
Got it.
But words are tough.
Words and numbers.
All right, back
are
to Abomination Leader,
tough. All right, we've clearly.
Show. And then you got Hulking, which I don't know if he's really a Hulk. He just calls himself Hulkling, but he doesn't really have Hulk powers, I think.
What's the verbal or audio equivalent of the big ol' hook that you drag someone off stage like in the Muppets? Because I think that's what we need for you right about now.
Stage left, even.
Ooh, exit stage left.
Stage left.
We're always here for a timely Snagglepuss reference.
All right, so this has been Fresh Death Comics. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Let us know. We're on Instagram, TikTok.
We are on TikTok. We made one for every day if you want to go back and watch us losing our minds and being scared.
I like our bits we do for some of it because we were like trying to predict the movie and kind of doing like, oh, this is what I think the movie's going to be. And then we nail it. And I'm so proud of ourselves.
Vindication.
I'm like, yes, I did a bit because I thought this is what the movie would be about. So I wanted this feeling. And yes, it worked. So I'm pretty proud of myself for some of the days.
Yeah. Also, I just like being silly. It's fun.
All right, guys. So we will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. And we will see you next time.
Crepes close.
Time.
Crepes close.
Time.
Crepes close.
Time.